Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we have 8 games to choose from here on Tuesday night in the NBA. In this one, we're taking a look at the Knickerbockers. They are in Portland taking on these Trailblazers on the road still. Also have another game video up for you with those Pellies and Lakers and the player props we are bringing you each and every weekday. So like and subscribe to that page. Also want you to head to thelines.com. That's our website where we have all of the great written content up there for you guys and more about the NBA. Also have plenty of March Madness in full swing right now as well. So head over there and use that odds finder tool we have up there as well. You can make sure that you're getting all the odds, the best odds available to you from sportsbooks, giving you guys bets this season. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into this 8-game slate for everyone and talk about this game, Knicks and Blazers.
Yeah, we got Cavs minus 7.5 at the Hornets here. The Pistons plus 13 at Washington. Then we got Nuggets trying to right the ship on the road here, plus 1 at the Raptors, who are back home after a long road trip. Lakers in a pick'em at New Orleans, totals 226. We break that game down for you in a separate video. Mikal Bridges' Nets are plus 1.5 at the Thunder. We'll see if they can keep their magic going. The Orlando Magic minus 5 at the Spurs. Bucks minus 1 at Suns. Both teams on a back-to-back after some exhausting games there last night. And then the Knicks, it opened around a pick'em. They're now minus 2.5, despite Jalen Brunson listed as doubtful. That is moving the total, however, from 232 down to 228. And at first glance, I mean, that is a very low total for the Portland Trailblazers, but Damian Lillard being questionable, I think, is affecting that movement. Blazers have gone over in 4 of their last 6 at home, and all 6 of those have gotten to at least 227. But if you are missing 2 top all-stars, no, that's not actually the classification for Jalen Brunson, should be, but 2 top all-star guards, you will expect a lower scoring event, especially if, with the Knicks on this exhausting road trip. So I'm not really trying to target that over. I'm just trying to target the Knicks and say, you know what, they're good enough to beat the Blazers, even if Dame plays without Jalen Brunson. I mean, they're just a better overall team because, one of the guys who doesn't score a lot, who is actually vital to the success of either team, is Josh Hart, who's now playing for the Knicks instead of the Blazers. And the Blazers are pretty much the worst defense in the league since getting rid of him. I mean, they were even bad before that, but dead last in defensive rating in their last 7 home games. Yeah, dead last in defensive rating at home over their last 7 here since the All-Star break, giving up the 2nd most assists, 5th highest offensive rebound rate, 5th most paint points. You think getting Yusuf Nurkic back would help shore up some of those issues? Well, he's been so effective, he was yanked in their last game after 10 minutes when they gave up 74 in the first half to New Orleans, a team that is not really very impressive offensively, and in some ways similar to the Knicks. And Jeremy Grant struggling. He's also questionable, by the way. He's got a 111 offense rating his last 9. The bigger issue is Anthony Simons is struggling with an ankle injury, and in his last 8, he's shooting just 34% from 3. He's a minus 65 with a 107 rating in that span. So the last time the Blazers actually won without Dame, they have 2 wins without him in their last 10 matchups, and one of those was actually at New York. But you're talking about huge games from Simons and Simmons and Grant, who combined for 82 points. You're talking about 19 rebounds from Josh Hart, the aforementioned, and Nurkic, winning his matchup against Mitchell Robinson and now Nurk is just completely ineffective. So I just don't see where the Blazers are at. In the other video, Josh was like, I'm not going to say the Pelicans are tanking, but they understand where their season's heading. I think the Blazers might actually soon start tanking. This is after that trade and how basically feeble they've been, unable to generate wins despite Damian Lillard dropping 60 a night. Look, they're not going to make the play in. If they are, they're not going anywhere. They can't get a stop at home or away. What do they have to play for? So I mean, the Knicks at just -2, as long as it doesn't grow too much, I think it's a great opportunity to say stars out, but we're still riding the better team, the more motivated team. With the Knicks still, clinging to that 5th spot right now. If the Nets are going to keep winning games, they're they got a lot to play for right now in terms of their status.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the hell the Blazers are doing. I don't know what they were doing at the trade deadline. Like then go full tank. Then like what are we talking about? Then you have to go full into it. Like you can't just take on Cam Reddish, get rid of Josh Hart to instantly make the Knicks like a legitimate threat to whoever they play in the second round of the playoffs if they can get past the first. Like the Cavs and Knicks are both going to present a problem to whomever they play in that one seed, probably the Bucks at this point, right? So like because of Josh Hart, by the way, like a huge part of it is Josh Hart. The thing about this game too for Portland is just like you said, like what are you trying to do? If you look at what they've been doing in the last 10, even just take the last 10 games, Josh Hart's been gone for like 12 games, whatever. Like every stat that has to do with hustle, rebounding, turning the ball over on the other team, not turning the ball over on offense, they're in the bottom 3. Like they don't get points off of turnovers, or the bottom 10, let's say 7. But they don't get second chance points. They don't get fast break points. They don't get points in the paint. They allow a ton of second chance points, and fast break points and points in the paint. So they're just like you can't win without any of that stuff. Like it's going around the league in general. I think you're seeing a lot of teams suffering. I would argue that the Celtics are suffering from awful play from Marcus Smart, and a guy that is like a Josh Hart, that you need that type of person on your team. And Portland just has none of that at this point. Even Jeremy Grant's turned into like almost like a Hollywood shoot threes and try to score, where he used to be like kind of like a grit and grind kind of player. And it's just not even the case with him. You talked about some of the numbers that have been poor for him. The thing too about, I say this because I do like the Knicks tonight. I don't like how many games they've been playing. They played 3 and 4 nights, had a night off, and now they're playing again. So that's 4 and 6, right? And that's a lot of games, and that's a lot of games for Julius Randle to have the bulk of the offense on him. So I lean under before I even really start wanting to talk about the Knicks, to be honest. And look, I'm also going to just be fully transparent. I'm really excited about what's happening with them, so I'm being full on pessimist because I also know how dependent they are on Jalen Brunson. We know that this season they scored the fewest amount of points, percentage of their points after getting an assist, and they have the fewest amount of assists in the league as well this season, even though they have such a great point guard, because they're so ISO dependent, right? And Jalen is the only is really the one who you want making decisions at the end of the game. If Dame doesn't play in this game, then like, come on, man, 228 is way too high. If Dame does play in this game, like I mean, look, no one has a more stark on-off offensive rating impact than Dame right now. When he's on the floor, this team has 121 offensive rating. They have no business having that with the other 4 guys that are on the floor with him. When he's off the floor, it's 106 offensive rating. That's a 14 point per 100 possession swing for Damian Lillard and this Portland Trailblazers team. So we know they're not going to do anything in any sort of ancillary stat category. They're going to need to score a ton of threes and get to the line, by the way, a ton of times, which they've been doing over their last 5 to the tune of the 5th most, because Dame averages double-digit free throw attempts a game this season, essentially. And like I said, without him, like, put it in the bag. But even with him, I still think we can get below 228 in this one. It just scares me, obviously, a lot more.
Yeah, the Knicks will still be able to hound Dame if he's out there, and Tibbs will have them playing well. They do play at a slower pace without Brunson, but I think you're being a little being a little pessimistic as a Knicks fan to say, with they're so dependent on unassisted field goals. Well, you take Brunson out of that, so they're going to play more team ball, and it just so happens they're playing one of the worst, assist defenses out there. A team that you can move the ball around on, get a good shot, get Quentin Grimes open, etc. I also, if you say Julius Randle's who you're leaning on, I don't worry about him in terms of short rest. He's an Iron Man. I don't think it matters to him if he plays every single night. I think he's built like a brick house, and maybe it helps with his rhythm because he just takes a lot of really weird shots that I'm sure help if you're playing more often. And he's been on a tear lately, basically carried them to the win over the Lakers. Yeah. So I'm not saying I would take the over for him here tonight. I just think, if Dame's going to miss tonight and you bet this at -2.5, you should feel great about the Knicks. Yeah. Who knows what else might happen with the Blazers? I mean, Simons has been a sudden late scratch recently too. If they're just going to be like, look, Dame's not fully healthy, like I'm saying, like, let's start to pack it in. Maybe no Jeremy Grant. Maybe Nurkic gets yanked again. And then you're talking about the Blazers of last season which was pretty much the worst team in the league down the stretch and just an absolute doormat. So either way, we're kind of trending that way with them defensively. It's just a question of whether Dame's going to be out there to try to get them into a shootout.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, it is hilarious what you're saying because Anthony Simons wasn't playing. Then he came back and he scored 39 on Philly and almost beat Philly pretty much by himself because Dame didn't even play that well. Philly came back and won by 1, but then he didn't play the next game because they're like, no, we can't have you doing that, Anthony. Like we're not trying to win these games. You're not understanding. Is kind of what it feels like. But last thing I would say, I like the Knicks a lot in this scenario. 7-2 on the season when they are away dogs, covering the spread in 7 of those games, winning those games by an average of about 9 points, and those games average about 221 totals, going 3-6 to the over in those 9. So it is a scenario that the Knicks have thrived in, and there's some consistency there to say that it does feel like they should be able to handle a small spread and go under a nearly 230 total. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. Check out the other videos we have up for you, including those player props. Until we see you next, happy betting.